Mariam for taking those pictures.
Now, Mrs. Gutman, you testified that you were your husband's sexual slave for 36 years during your marriage.
Except for 2 years when he was in the Navy in Southeast Asia.
And before your marriage, what was your profession?
I was a hostess for Braniff Airlines.
And what is your husband's profession?
He manufactures staples and industrial brad tacks. He's very successful.
How would you describe your husband's sexual proclivities?
Well, at first he was a very gentle and tender lover. But then he became more and more fixated on toys and machinery and devices of various
Can't help it. You don't decide to become bored. It just happens.
You're just looking for trouble. It's a midlife crisis. Look, get yourself a new car.
I have a new car. I have 2 new cars. I have a tab at the Mercedes dealership. Torn the house down twice. Rebuilt the cabin in Vale. Got 3 of those yard people. Gardeners. I've got a man who waxes my jet.
These encounters were videotaped. Sometimes there would be a gizmo.
A gizmo?
He had a device he called the Intruder. It was something he had the engineers at the factory design, and then he had a prototype built out of the parts from our vacuum cleaner.
I see.
So the vacuum cleaner wasn't available to me for several months.
Several months without the appliance.
Yes.
The problem is everyone is willing to compromise. That's the problem with the institution of marriage. It's based on compromise, even through its dissolution. Mrs. Gutman here. She's going to score some points concerning her husband's sexual politics. Naturally, we'll try to impeach her. And then the entire process will find an equilibrium point based on the skill of the individual lawyers. And then both parties will go home with their portion of the staple factory.
That's life. Life is compromise.
That's not life. That's death. Struggle and challenge and ultimate destruction of your opponent. That's life. Let me ask you something. Attila the Hun. Ivan the Terrible, Henry VIII. What do they have in common?
Middle name?
No, they didn't just win. They destroyed.
Mr. Massey, again I ask, have you any questions for the complainant?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was just consulting with an associate. Now, Mrs. Gutman, do you know a man named David Gonzalez?
Well, he's the tennis pro at the club.
The tennis pro. Then why